name is Dayo Oladiji, and this is Rise and Thrive with Dayo. It's a podcast dedicated to helping people discover purpose. Very, very important, discovering your purpose, because if the foundation is good, then the future will be good. So it focuses at young individuals, talking about discovering your purpose and embracing your purpose. You know, women will always tell you that gender equality, blah, 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 but in words, but when it comes to action, because I normally say it, every woman might not believe, but they are built that way. God has built a woman to depend, no matter how much she's earning. When you give her something, she's happy. So a woman might tell you that, yes, gender equality, I want to do my stuff, you do your stuff. When it comes to money, you will know that naturally you need to provide. And that is, that is, I feel so many guys, young people starting from the scratch, if you are able to ask yourself this question, how much have I spent trying to be responsible? Let's be realistic. Everybody will say that, you are dating again, you take her out now, you buy her things now, and in trying to be a responsible man, even when you are innocent, not that you are a womanizer, you see that your money is going and it's going and going. I know it's fun that day. So, but what will you advise a person starting from the scratch? It is I'm talking about the scratch because, people ignore, when people give you financial advice, they forget about the scratch. It's like they are giving you advice from the middle, giving you advice from level 2, giving you advice from level 3. What about when I'm on ground zero? So a person on ground zero is coming to you and is asking you that, Mr. Heritage, what are the things? Just give me 4, 5, or 3 practical things I can do to go from this level of finance to another level. So just give us this.
All right, you say it's ground zero.
Yes.
This ground zero, is it ground zero of I have money, I'm earning money, I'm working? Or ground zero of I'm in school, I'm waiting for them to send me money from home? Which of the ground zeros?
The ground zero of I'm working.
I'm working.
Yes, but I'm not
paying attention to
nothing.
Money.
I just get and spend.
All right, good. First thing you want to do, first. Like we've agreed at the beginning that you must be ready to work with me. You have to decide. It's a decision you have to make. You want to be ready to do this. And this is something I want to do. I want to make a change. That's the first thing. Now, step 1. What do you spend your money on? That's the first thing you want to know. What am I spending my money on? How much do I earn? And what am I spending it on? Because you must know how much you earn. If your money is not enough for your basic expenses, then we need to have the conversation of how do we increase your income. But let's even assume that we're not there yet. What are you spending your money on? First things you need to do, take note of it. Take note of what you're spending money on. Take note of what you're spending money on. Just take note of it. You should be able to track your expenses. You cannot be spending money and you don't know where it's going. Where is my income going to? You have your income bucket, right? This is your income. There's holes in the bucket. All your money is flowing out. So track your expenses, first step. Second step, draft out the budget. Okay. Track your expenses, draft out the budget. It's important. You have to. So when I know this is where my money is going on to, I can know what is taking my money. I can reduce this, reduce that, but then draft the budget. Next one coming, how am I going to spend it? In your budget, step 3, keep a small part, even if it's 5,000 naira. Keep a small part. You have to. 5,000 naira in 10 months is already 50K. Right? 5,000 naira in a year, we're talking about 60,000. It may not look like a lot, but you have moved from ground zero to ground 0.1. Right? So first step, track your expenses. Second step, budget. Draft the budget. Written budget. Now, the place of being disciplined to follow it is also important. Discipline is a decision, is what I believe. At certain level, they can't teach you discipline anymore now. Can I teach you discipline? It just means that time they flog us to learn it, but now I can't flog you. At this point, you decide to be disciplined. So it's not enough to say you write a budget. If you write a budget and you don't follow it, then you have not decided. And I said you decided from the very beginning that you want to commit to this process of changing. So first things, track your expenses. Second things, draft out the budget. Third thing, you need to save a part of that income that is coming in. In your budget, put something out for income, for savings. You have to. This saving, just be putting in somewhere. I think this is the first initial step you need to take. You must do that. If you do these first 3 things, you're already laying the foundation. Now, the saving you are saving is not like tomorrow now you're now hungry in the office and then chicken low went here.
You're not going to pick for
That's not what I'm saying. You are not deciding. It's not part of your budget. The money you put aside is what I would call an emergency fund. That's what you're trying to build. The reason is you cannot go on the journey of investing without having an emergency fund. If not, you go back into your investing bucket and take money out when the need arises. So first step, tracking your expenses. Second step, drafting out a budget. Third step, keeping a portion of it as savings. What we're trying to do is build an emergency fund. Now, what you hear, an emergency fund could be up to 3 to 6 months of your core needs and expenses. Okay. How much, in your budget, you already know how much you need to live your life, at least at the very basic level, in terms of your needs, your wants, and your savings. You already have that in. Yeah. Maybe you do 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, 20% for your savings and investment. However you want to structure it, but have that structure. Now you know what that 50% of needs, by needs I mean your housing, roof over your head, I mean your transportation, your food, your basic light bills, things that would help your life move forward. That's what I mean by your necessities, right? So you're saving first money that can build that need for 3 to 6 months. That's what you're doing. That's the first thing. Focus on that first. Because when you have that already done, that will take you months, it will take you weeks, it will take you a few years, but do that first. When you have that background, it's easier to climb from there in terms of other things. Your plan is already set. New things cannot just come and throw you back to ground zero. So from ground zero, if you can get to the point where you've already started to look at how you can put 3 to 6 months expenses aside. Now in doing this, I must not forget this key part. Reduce your debts. If you're owing money, you need to start to pay them off and stop incurring new ones, particularly if they're not productive. I think it was in the office, it was like 2 days ago. I had a number call my official line, and then you know how Truecaller will show some numbers. Normally it's blue color, that's the color you have. This one was shiny red. And what I saw was scammer something. I knew that it was obviously, this loan sharks calling. So I picked the call. I said, hello, good afternoon. I said, hello, good afternoon. How are you? I'm fine. Do you know Mr. something? I said, I don't know the person. I don't know. And that ended the conversation. But what I noticed after the call, I saw that about 100 and something people had already blocked that number or reported that number. In my head, I'm like, I understand that loan sharks can be difficult, but they borrowed you this money. You borrowed the money. You didn't pay back. They're not calling you. You not report them as they are scamming you. Right? That's not the best. You need to reduce your debts. Now, why are you going into debt? Number one, you didn't have a budget. So you most likely have spent, I'm assuming that the debt is not something emergency. That's why we talked about emergency fund.
Yeah.
But when I say reduce your debt, one of the practical steps to do that is have a budget, stick to it. So if I have a budget and I'm trying to stick to it, anything that passes my power, right, I can't do it. Right? So it can help you, and then pay off the ones you have reduced, because if you don't pay off your debt, it becomes difficult to take your income fully and commit it to productive activities. So first step, track your expenses. Second step, draft out a budget. Let me even add manage and reduce your debt in this point. Manage and reduce your debt. And next step is start to save something from your income. In your budget, but account for it. Savings, and that savings you're trying to build a 3 to 6 month expenses. How do you put this? Where do you put this money? It's not money that you want to put where you just remember something. With a loan beacon. It's not easy to be hungry. Yeah. And money is somewhere. You close your eyes. It's not easy. So when I say draft a budget first, account for your needs first, it's so that we don't go and reach for this so-called savings emergency fund and we spend it. And when I say emergency is not shower. There's emergency and there's emergency. Do you understand? When they say emergency, something actually important, not frivolities. Now, when you build this money, don't just keep it somewhere where it's not productive. Don't just put it somewhere where you can easily just reach and take it, right? There are places where you can, put this money in where it can be productive for you. We have savings apps that you can put money in and then you can earn a certain return. But you want to make sure that it is it's liquid. When I say liquid, I mean it's money that when an actual emergency comes up, you can actually reach for the money. Do you understand? It's not money that you buy land. Now, let's say you're not used to buy land. As an example, I know land is much big, but let's assume you buy land. Emergency not come up. You're not looking for buyer. You do not see buyer.
So you're not,
do you understand? The money is not liquid enough. It needs to be somewhere where it's easy to access. But remember, your discipline is going to keep you from trying to access it for things that are actually not emergencies. I will talk about these apps. We'll see how we can get that information out there. But then that's that. When you have done that, you've started to keep that. You've now built your point. This will take you time. Honestly, I'm saying in 2-3 minutes. It's not that in next 2 months you're going to be here. Yeah. It's going to take you time. When I say build 3 to 6 months expenses, worth of expenses, and you are saving 20% of your income per month, you can imagine how many months it will take you to build 6 months of expenses when in the first place it was 50% of your income. It will take you some time. But get to this point. If you get to this point, right, you can work better, you can breathe better. Your income is free, you're not in debt, you have money kept somewhere. There's the breath around is different. If you break somebody's crate of egg on the road, you will not panic too much. Do you know there's this a little bit of freedom you feel when, at least some extent, you feel that progress. And it's good because when you start, there's momentum. Because you've started, something is changing, right? You feel it, you're motivated to continue. I think if somebody starts with these steps first, it can really help you start going forward. And after this, we'll talk about maybe investments here and there. But I think for somebody starting from the very beginning, if you follow these steps, it can help you. Let me run through them one again. First thing, track your expenses. If you want to use, remarks on your transfers, do that. If you want to write it down on your notepad, do that. Writing may not be as easy because there are expenses that you just quickly do, you forget to write. But I think writing a remark on your transactions can help. That will help you draft out the budget is really important. Have a budget, structured budget, and you discipline yourself to follow it. Then of course you have to try and reduce your debt at this point, right? If you have debt in your budget, commit some amount of money to sorting that debt regularly. Then from that same budget, try to start keeping something. Maybe 5%, maybe 10% of your income, you're keeping something in savings. You have to. That savings is what you're building into 3 to 6 months expenses, but make sure the money is not lying idle. Inflation will eat everything away. You want to keep it in a place where it's liquid, but it's still being productive, it's earning you some level of income, and then we move it to take it up from there.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I think this is very, very amazing. For people starting, it's something you can practice. I believe in life, beyond hearing something, when you put it to practice, you can test the viability of every information.
Oh yeah.
The reason why people do not get results is people hear, some believe and don't practice. What I'm trying to tell everybody watching is that these things that you've heard is beyond listening. Test it out. Try it out, and you can also give us reviews. Give me reviews. You can follow my pages, Rise and Thrive with Dayo on YouTube, Rise and Thrive with Dayo on X, Rise and Thrive with Dayo on Instagram, Rise and Thrive with Dayo on Facebook and on TikTok. Taking your financial life seriously is going to help you. Because the truth is, when you are not financially free, there's a limit to which you can even plan your life. It's going to reduce how well you think. If you don't take your financial life serious early enough, you get to a point where you have dreams. But when you have the dreams, because you've not taken the right step, there is no finance to finance your dream. And everything lies within your grasp. I believe in life. My life began to change when I began to take responsibility for everything. Before you blame anything outside, blame yourself. Look for the place where you missed it. When you get the place where you missed it, it'll be easy to, retrace your footstep and get it right. So it's been a wonderful time with my friend, Mr. Heritage. It's been a lot on finance, and I'm really very happy that you're able to come. It's good for us at our level in life. With the little we have seen, we should be able to impact people. Let them get something. Somebody said in a podcast I listened to that if you do not try to find ways to elevate people around you financially, you get to a point where they'll become a burden to you. So having financial knowledge alone among people is a waste, because when you grow to a level, every person you left behind will come to you and they're going to be a burden to you. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you again on this channel. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you some other time.